Hello everyone. So welcome to my YouTube channel once again and we'll continue our learning on the Python playlist. So the last video we have learned about how to interact with Python. So now let's write our first program in Python. We call it hello.py file. So let's try to create a new file here. Again, why we have this .py in the end? Because it helps the computer to understand that this is a Python based file and it can be executed by Python. So that is where we need this. And then let's try to write a first line of code, which is printing my name. So my name is Akash and save it. So now here you can just try to understand why we have written it in this way. So first we have written Python. Now if you hover over it, you will see this is a function of Python, which is kind of inbuilt function. And you can see the definition of this Python function. But if you go on the high level objective, it prints the value. Just so that's where we are using this print function so that we can print out. Now we have this curly braces. So why this curly braces is there? So that the Python can understand what it needs to run. So what is the input that is going into this function? So for that we have this not the curly braces but the small brackets. Now inside a small bracket we have this quote. So the quote is telling that this complete thing within this quote is a kind of a text that we are trying to pass, kind of a string. It's not some code that we are trying to pass. If we remove this, it will treat each of these as a individual variable, which we will learn about in later stage. But yeah, right now we are passing it in this format. Again, there is many other things we can see here. We'll cover it in our next session. For now, we'll just focus on printing a simple text that we have written. Now, we already learned how to execute this using this scripting method. So we have created our script. Now let's open the terminal and we can execute it here. Python and the file name. So when I will run this, let's try to run it without this slash. So you can see it's working and I am able to print it out, right? Now you may be thinking that what if I create this Python file in some other directory and try to run it from there. So let's say I create a new folder here and let's move this file into this folder. Now, if I try to execute the same command in the terminal, do you think it will run? Just guess. So it's going to fail because this file is not here in this directory. So it is going to fail. It says no such file in the directory. So what we have to do first, we have to jump into this directory. So for that, we use this cd command. So we can go to this directory using the inverted comma or without inverted comma as well. And then now we are in this folder directory. Now if we run the same command again, you can see it is printing it. Okay. Now if we want to come back to our previous directory, we can use this cd and then dot dot. Once we hit it enter, we came back to our previous directory. So this is how we can run the our script that we have written. Now there is another way as well in which we can run our code. So let's try to do that also. So to do that, let's open Python. Again, you can write it Python 3 or Python 3.11. This way also it works. Let me try. Okay, for here it's not working, but in Windows, like generally it works with Python only. But yeah, in Mac or some other system, you can try with that also. If it's not working Python, then you can try with Python 3. Now we have opened the interpreter. Here, now let's try to print the same thing. Let's try to print hi Akash. See, I got the output. Now let's print something else. 3 plus 3. What will be the output? Let's see. 3 plus 3. Why it has not added? Because it's treating it as a message, single string. So it can't do computation on a string, right? So for that, we need to remove the code. Now, if we remove the code, it will treat 3 as a integer and plus as a operator, sum operator. And then it will do the calculation. So you can see the calculation is there. So you can see like how both are almost similar, but just a code made the difference. And same thing if I try to do for hi Akash, if I remove the code, you will see I will get an error. See, because it's trying to find it as some variable or something else. It's not treating it as a string. So that's where this is like we should understand how to use print statement and how we can print it out different things. Now again, if you are wondering like where all this print can be used in real projects, so let's say I'm writing a function and I have multiple functions like function 1, function 2, function 3 in my code, and each function may have 5 to 10 lines of code. Now I don't know, like when I will execute this complete file .py, it is possible that the function can, or any one of this function or any one of the line in the code can give some error. Then what I will do, I will add a print statement after each of the line, or at a particular line where I feel like there is a chance of error, and then I will see what is it giving the output, and based on that I can decide whether I need to make modification there or somewhere else. So it helps me in debugging like where the actual error in the code is, and instead of manually running the code line by line in the terminal in this interpretable way, we can run it directly using the scripting method, and we can find out the actual region and we can solve it. We can solve the issue. So this is where this Python, the print inbuilt function of Python comes in picture. Again, there is a log file which we will learn about in later stage, but this log file is mainly used for production grade application once we develop something that is used across the industry. So for those kind of thing, instead of print, we go for log. So yeah, and the other thing I wanted to talk about is this is like we have created the hello.py file in this VS Code. Now you can do it in any of the editor, be it a Notepad or Notepad++, and you're gonna still get the same output. For example, let me open Notepad and let me create a new file here and add the same statement and save it. Save it in my downloads Python. Let's create a new folder and save it in this with a name file and .py. Let's remove this. So now you can see I have created using this notepad, and let's close this one. So you can see the new folder is here and the file is here. Now let's try to run this also. So first exit from here and then navigate to the correct folder and then execute the file. You can see it's also working. So it's not necessary that you have to create this Python file uh, in VS Code only. You can use command prompt to write the file, You can use Notepad also. So it's not necessary. Now let me also just test if you learned or not. So, and again, these are like some of the very common mistakes that most of people do when they are starting with Python. So they will write print in this way, hi Akash, and they will say, why it's giving error? So it will give error. You can see like P is capital, which should have been small. So once you change it, then it won't give error. See, the other mistake that people do often is like they remove the quote and then they run it. So again, you will get error. So at least if not double quote, you should have a single quote. And there is again different uses of single quote and double quote, but basically they means the same thing. So you can see it's still working. And then the other thing that people do is like they are in the wrong directory and they try to execute the code. So if I am in my new folder directory, I won't be able to execute my the other file in the like folder directory like hello.py. See, if I try to execute hello.py, I will get error. It won't find that file. But if I try to change it to file.py, I can run it. So these are some of the very common mistakes that most of the beginners do. So try to avoid this so that you have a smooth journey with executing your code in Python and you will enjoy developing any application because you saw like how easy it is. Just write one line of code, save with a .py file, and that's all it. The computer understands that this is a Python file and the interpreter like Python exe file, execute this file. So that's all, and we are able to run our Python file. Now we can write as many lines of code as we want. It's up to us, right? And we can also test the code using this the interpreter mode, each of the line, right? So yeah, with that, I would like to close this video, and yeah, let me know your feedback also on how the content is and if I need to improve, and let me know your doubts in the comment box and your suggestion as well. With that, I would like to thank you everyone and feel free to like, subscribe and share this. Bye.